Today, we will talk about the reinforcement. Okay, in Tekla structures, we have four ways to add the reinforcement. Okay, so we will tackle that one by one. So, okay, the four ways. The first one is using the rebar group. Okay, the second one is using the shape manager. The third one is using the component, and then the last one is using the rebar set. Okay, so these are the four ways of adding the reinforcement. But the very basic one is the rebar group. So this is something like the origin of adding the reinforcement, the rebar group. So we must know the rebar group so that we can do a lot of things. Okay, so we're going to discuss about the rebar group first. Okay, so from your concrete part, the easier one to show is this pad footing. Okay, so we will start with the pad footing. Okay, so what I will do is I'm going to select the pad footing, right click, and then create 3D view of part. Alright, so now, since the reinforcement is inside the concrete, we must make it transparent, correct? Because if this one is not transparent, we will not be able to see the reinforcement inside. So just simply press Ctrl 2. Alright, Ctrl 2. Yeah. So now, from the concrete tab or menu, you can see here there is a rebar. Right? Rebar. Under the concrete, you can see the rebar. This one is the bar group. Okay? So from the bar group, you can see here there's a bar group, there is a bar. Bar group means it's a group of rebar, meaning this one usually used for the links, lateral ties, and if you have many rebar. Okay, continues. Then bar, meaning it's a single bar. So you want to create a single bar. That one is only for the bar. Yeah. So example of that one is something like a trimmer bar or trimming bar, lifting hook or lifting hook. So that one you can use the bar. So meaning you create an individual bar. And then you have the curved bar group. So curve, if you have something like a curved beam or curved wall, circular bar group. This one usually used for the circular column. Yeah. So you have the circular column. So in circular bar group, there are options there to be a spiral loop, a spiral bar, or something like a circular bar. So two types. And then you can also create a mesh. Yeah. So a mesh bar, especially if you have something like a you want to put a mesh on the slab. So you can have the area mesh there. So you can create the mesh or wall. Instead of using the bar group, you have the mesh. You order the mesh from the manufacturer and then use the mesh, okay, for your wall. And then you can also create a strand pattern. So strand pattern, actually this one mostly used in a precast, like a hollow core section. So there's a strand pattern, or maybe a pre-stressed beam. So you have a strand pattern there. And you can also do some rebar splice. And then the rebar is always attached to the concrete. You cannot create a rebar without a concrete part, because the moment that you create a rebar, the first question is pick the what's that? Pick the object that you want to reinforce. So what you want to reinforce? Of course, the concrete. So you need to pick the concrete. Now, it's always attached to the concrete, but if you look at the bottom part, you can see here, there is the attached rebar to part and detached. So meaning, even that one, when you create the rebar to the concrete, it is possible to detach and to attach. Okay? So meaning, let's say, for example, you have the column, and then you add the starter bar to this column, right? But is it there is a possibility that you can detach the starter bar from the column and then attach the starter bar to the footing, so that when you create the drawing, you can separate it. Correct? So that's the attach and detach. Okay? And then you have also the group and ungroup. So means when you create a link of the bar, when you click the links, when you click one, everything is selected, right? When you select ungroup, meaning you can dismantle that one. You can select one by one, and then you can group it again. Okay, so that's the bar group. Okay, so first we need to go to this bar group. Okay, select the bar group, and then look at the right hand side. Okay, so from the right hand side, you can see under the general, there is a bar group type. Alright? So the bar group type, it's not only a normal one, but if you pull down the menu of the bar group type, you can see that there is a normal, there is a tapered ridge. So if you have a tapered, it's only tapered is something like this size going smaller. So that's tapered. But tapered ridge is something like a roof. So small, big, small. So you can use that one. If you have, especially if you have a beam that is tapered. Actually, again, usually I see that one in a precast beam, which is tapered like a roof. You have a tapered curb. So meaning you can use that one to the curb beam. You have a tapered end, meaning if your section is something like a zigzag, and then you want to have one group of a zigzag link, it's also possible. And then lastly, the spiral. Okay. Then the name, of course, you can put the name of your rebar. The grade, if you look onto this grade and size, this one is a combo. You cannot have a size without a grade. So if you click on this size, so as you notice here, these are the grade available, and then under the grade you will see the size. So let's say, for example, we're going to use the H. H is for the Eurocode. Nowadays, the Singapore is using the Eurocode. Before, Singapore using T. Now they're using H. So select the H, and then let's say I'll select one of the. Okay, I can choose 16, and then click OK. 16, H16. Either tie or main doesn't matter. Okay. So now 16, and then the bending radius of 16 is 32 by default, times 2. The bending radius, that one is inside the rebar database. Now, what is rebar database? Before we go further, so that you will know, hey, this is where I got this 32. So let me show you where's the rebar database. So from your C drive, Tekla structure. I don't know if you install in Tekla structure or Tekla structure program files. So here 2020. So I have the environment, Southeast Asia, general. So I have this profile. under the profile, you can see here rebar database INP. So if you click on this one, you can see the rebar database here. All the H, all the A, B, C, R, T, undefined, and so on. So if you want to delete the size of the rebar in the library, then this is the place. If you want to add the size of the rebar, let's say H13, that one is not common, right? So I think only Singapore had H13, or maybe here in Southeast Asia H13. It's not here in the default, so you can add here in the rebar database. Okay, if you have those properties, then you can add. Now, if you have another, if you want to introduce other grade, then this is also the place to introduce the new grade of the rebar. Okay, so again, rebar database INP. Close it. Now I'm going to close it. So here 32, I can change that one anytime. And then the class number, maybe I'll choose 2. For the meantime, you can see the hook, okay? You can see the hooks from the start and the end. At the moment, kindly select no hook, okay? No hook. And then the cover thickness, you have on plane, from plane, start and end. For the meantime, again, you type 0, 0, 0. So I don't want you to have any value there. I want you to put 0, 0, 0. Okay? And then under that one, you can see the distribution. So you don't have distribution. Maybe you are selecting the bar, not the bar group. Yes? Yes. Because the bar is individual. So you go back to the rebar and select the bar group. Okay, so distribution, you may ask, hey, how to distribute this one? Here, there are different ways to distribute the rebar. What is distribution? That is the spacing. Okay, so let's say you pick this range, this 3 meters. So this 3 meters, I want my rebar to be 200, 200, 200, 200. So you can choose target by spacing value. Now, I want, in these 3 meters, I want to have 20 pieces of rebar. So instead of putting the target spacing, then you put number of reinforcing bar, 20 pieces. It doesn't matter what is the spacing, but I want 20 pieces there. So you can choose the number. And you can have this exact spacing. Exact spacing is similar to what you are doing manually. That you calculate how many rebars. So let's say in the moment connection, okay, I have 10 pieces of rebar, space 50, 50, 50, and then after that, 20 pieces of 100, 100, 100, 100. So that one is under the exact spacing. Yeah? Okay, so that's it. I just want to explain that one to you so that, because later on, we will use this one a lot. So we need to know what we are dealing with, right? So now it's time for us to add this rebar. So again, once you click the rebar group, what it says? What's the next move? Pick the part to reinforce. So what is the part to reinforce? The footing. So I need to pick the part. So again, I just want to remind you, you cannot click here because it's transparent. So you can change it to Control 4 and then click. Alright? And then Control 2. Now pick the shape. Pick the shape. So what is the shape of my rebar? I want you to add a U shape first. U shape. So U shape meaning I can click here. Again, so click here, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so look, if you accidentally pick the wrong position, what shall we do? Escape, right click, interrupt. No need for you to go back from scratch, but you press backspace. So if you press backspace, look what will happen. So you can now go back to the correct one.
Press backspace.
Backspace.
Only one backspace.
Yes, backspace. It depends. If you click many points wrongly, then depends on how many mistake you pick. So you pick the backspace. Okay? Now, in adding the rebar, okay, look, I pick 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? In adding the rebar, it's very important for us also to look onto the numeric value, right? If you notice here, 1,000, 1,800, 1,000. Is that correct? You can decide if that one is correct. Because if you pick the point, let's say if you zoom out and then it's too far and then you pick the point, you thought it's correct. But you can easily identify if it is in the correct position, if the value here, something like have some points. Let's say 1,001.25. So it's not something like it's not a common size of the concrete. Okay, so you can double check if you pick correctly, right? So now 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the next step is if you're done with the shape, so just simply click the middle button of your mouse. Click the middle button of your mouse. And then the next step is pick 2 points to indicate the range. So from where to where? I have the U shape. I pick from this edge. So from where to where? So from this point to this point. And that's it. You have already the reinforcement. Okay? Any question? So, did you manage to do this one, everyone? No. Okay, so let's continue. Now, as you can see here, the reinforcement is at the edge of the concrete. Okay, the reinforcement is at the edge of the concrete. So meaning we haven't done the cover. Okay, so meaning the reinforcement is still exposed, right? So now, the first one that we are going to change is the cover on plane. So select the rebar. Select the rebar. And on the properties, you can see on plane. On plane. Okay? So what is on plane? On plane, this is the cover on the shape that you pick. There will be a, okay, let's say we put 35. 35 millimeter, enter. So look what will happen. So now,
It comes inside.
yes, it will go inside from the shape that you pick. Shape, yeah? So that one is the on plane. Now, if we, here, on the range, if we want to have a cover on the range, then that will be from plane. From plane. So let's say we type 50 from plane. Yeah? So, or maybe, let's say 100. So that one is the from plane. Okay? And then, next is the cover from the start and the end. Start and the end. So, again, yellow is the start, magenta is the end. So, if I type here 50 also, 50, and then at the end is also 50, and then enter. So, now you have the cover of 50 at the end. Now the question is, hey, I want my rebar to be exposed at the top. So all you have to do is just simply change this one to negative. So let's say negative 200 and then negative 200, then that will be exposed. See? So you have now the exposed rebar. Okay? And then going back to the hooks, okay, hooks. There are standard hooks here. Standard 90 degrees, standard 135, standard 180, and custom. So standard, you cannot change anything there. Because if I click here, standard 90, modify, so it will just bend 90 degrees, but I cannot change the radius, I cannot change the length, because it's a standard. Okay? But if I change this one to custom, then here, length, I can change this one to 300, enter. So now, I can even change the radius to 20. Okay?
Question.
Yeah?
For the length in the hook, is it counted from order, the start of the length, end of the hook?
Here, end of the radius. That's the reason why when you measure that one, is more than the 300. Yeah. And then here, also, if you want 180 degrees, then that's the hook. Okay? So for the meantime, maybe we'll choose 90 degrees and then here 90 degrees and then modify. And then again here we'll put 50 and then 50 so that it will be inside the concrete. Okay, exercise. Create the U shape on the other side. It should be something like this. So we need to create the U shape on the other side. Same thing. Okay, kindly do that one. Maybe just simply change the color so that we can identify. So maybe I'll change that one to color green. So click. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Okay, done. So, what did you notice when you create this one? So here, if you zoom in, you can see that there is a collision, clashing, right? There's a clashing between the rebar because both has the same, what do you call that? Cover. Both has the same cover. So we need to adjust. So how to adjust this one? So here, if I select one of this and then go to the on plane, so you will notice this on plane 35 is 35, 35, 35. Three sides, right? Now, if I change this one to, let's say, 45 and then modify, or sorry, maybe 50. Okay. Still, because this one is quite big. So let's say 55. The thing is, okay, there is no collision on the bottom, but here, this one becomes bigger. This one 55, 55, 55. But I want the sides to be the same, 35. So what we need to do here is we need to change this on plane like a distance list. So similar to what we have done in, the grid, there is a space. So we can do that the same. So let's say here, the first leg, we need 35. So the first leg, meaning, I'll put here 35 space. So that one is the first leg, 35. Then the second leg is 55. And then the third leg is 35. So enter. So there you go. So now this one is still 35 and then this one is 55. So there's no clash between the two. Okay? Again, here on the top, then you can just simply change the, let's say this top, instead of 50, I'll put here 35 and then 35 and then this one should be 55. 55. That one is the start and end. The start, I put 35 so that it will not clash. Okay, what if I want one of the rebar to be in the corner? Okay, one of the rebar to be in the corner. Okay, what we can do is this. This one, I can adjust this one to 200. This on plane is 200, enter. And then this, I'm going to adjust this one to this one 55, modify, or maybe, sorry, or maybe 35. So that will be on the corner. Yeah, that should be okay because we're going to add now the laser bar. Okay, we add the laser bar, the link, okay, the close link. So how to add the close link? Okay, to add the close link, we're still using the rebar. Okay, rebar. This time, use the 8mm bar, 8 dia bar, and then you can type here, let's say links, And then the class, you can use number 6. And then the hook, use 135 degrees. Hook, 135 degrees, okay? So links, and then H8, okay? And then for the cover thickness, so you can type here 25, and then the prom plane, you can add, you can say 100, and then the start and end must be 25. Okay, remember this one, huh? If you are creating a close link, okay, if you are creating a close link, the rule there is the value in on plane, the value at the on plane is the same value on the start and end, if it is a closed link. Remember that one, huh? The value of the on plane is equal to the start and end value if it is a closed link. Okay? Okay, so that it will match. Because if the value of the cover in the on plane is different from the start and end, then there will be a mismatch on the end. Okay? So, remember that one. So, now, pick the part to reinforce. Okay, look. So, pick the reinforce, the concrete. And then here, 1, 2, 3, and then rotate. 4, rotate, and then 5. So meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You end where you start. Okay? Because it's a closed link. Okay? And then middle button of your mouse. And then what is the range? From the bottom to the top. 1,000. And look. So you have a very nice laser bar. And this one. Since this one is touching, maybe I can change this one a little bit from plane to 40. Yeah. So you just adjust as necessary. Okay, so now we have the pad footing. Okay.
Sorry. Can you do this one more time?
The laser bar. Okay.
You don't need to explain.
Yeah. So bar group. Pick the part to reinforce.
So you don't change any profile, still the edge.
Still the edge.
Okay.
But no, I changed that one to 8 mm. 8 mm. A smaller one.
The side, okay.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then 5. Middle button of your mouse, and then 1 and 1, 2. And there you go.
How can you change your radius to 20? Because I only have two options, 16 and 30.
You can just type. Okay. Now, okay, kindly change the size of your, after that, kindly change the size of your concrete. Change any size. Let's say 1,200 by 2,000. Change also the height if you like. Make it longer. Exaggerate. So let's say here, I'm going to put 2000 by 4000. And then here is, let's say, negative 5000. So okay, done. So you will notice here, see, even I change the size, I exaggerate it, it will follow as long as you perfectly pick the edge of the concrete, then it will follow. And then the good thing is this, okay, look, okay, if you select assembly, right, select assembly, and then you select this footing, right, yeah, you select the footing, select assembly, and then select the concrete. Right click, copy all contents to another object. Copy all contents to another object. And then pick this one. Pick this. Remember, from this size of the concrete, then I'm going to pick this one. See? So it will adapt. Select the concrete, this one, select the concrete, right click, copy all content to another object. Okay? And then click on the pad footing here, the smaller pad footing. So this one, even you add that one manually, it's already intelligent enough to adapt in the different size.
Click on your laser report. I want to see your properties. The one that you have now.
This one.
Yeah, correct. Standard 135.
Standard 135, yes. You can use 90. I mean, it's I just use the standard 135 for that bending at the end.
This one is not a group anymore, right? It's just a normal. It's a normal bar, right? It's not a group bar.
It's a group bar.
Still a group bar.
Yeah. I mean, there are three groups. Three groups. It's still a group bar. Yeah, see?
And then it's
The copy only works if it's copied to similar types.
Similar type, yes. Similar type.
Copy that together.
Let's say, for example, you want to copy this one to the column, it will work. But of course, it's not that very, I mean, the way that you want to. Because it will just something like it's a small U bar in the column, which is wrong. Yeah. Okay? Done? So let's do the next one. Next is I want you to create a beam. Okay? So the beam size, can you change the beam size to 800 by 500? Eight 800 by 500. Alright? And then create view, 3D view of part. Okay? 3D view of part, and then Control P, like this, a front view. And then what we are going to do here is we are going to change this one to be a tapered beam. Tapered beam. So how to make this one as a tapered beam? from yesterday's topic. How can you make this one as a tapered beam? Using cut. It's either line cut or polygon cut. So don't use the pit part and it will not work. But here, let's say line cut. So select the beam and then pick one and then just click on the center, 2, and then remove this excess. So now I have the tapered section. Okay, now let's add a link here. Okay, let's add a link. So this time I go to the bar group again. Bar group. I can still use my links here, and then the size is, let's say the size is 10, H10. Okay, and then okay, this time I can change the hook to 180 degrees. 180 degrees. I want to have a U-bar that expose to the top of the beam. Okay, expose. So in that case, my on plane is 25, my prom plane is, let's say, 50. The start, I want to put a negative 200 or negative 250, and then the end negative 250. All right, and then the distribution still the same, 200, 200, 200. Okay, can you follow that one? Links, H10, 20, class 2, standard 180 degrees, 180 degrees, on plane 25, prom plane 50, negative 250, negative 250. Negative meaning it will be exposed going up. Okay? So, since we're talking about tapered, in the rebar group type, select the tapered one. Earlier, when we select the normal, the number of cross section is only 1 because both ends are the same. But since we are selecting the tapered, the number of cross section are 2 because this size is different on this size. Okay? So now, pick the part to reinforce. So which is this beam. Okay? So click here 1. Okay, look. I started from this point, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Okay? Middle button of your mouse. So again, this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Control 2. So since I start on this point, I need to start also on that point on the other end. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If I click the middle button of mouse, the reinforcement will be shown there. No need for you to pick the range because you already picked the two end. Correct? So middle button of your mouse, then you have now the tapered reinforcement there. Okay? So, the next one is we add the main bar. Main bar. So main bar, again, we'll use the bar group. And then here, we type here main bar. And then I'll use bar 20. Then no hook. No hook. Okay, straight one. And then the on plane, I will choose here 40. From plane is something like 40 as well. Let's say negative 25, negative 25. This time, in the distribution, I'm going to use the number of reinforcing bar. I will put 3 numbers. Only 3 numbers. Okay? So pick the part to reinforce. Again, this beam. And then 1, 2, middle button of your mouse. And then range 1, 2. Sorry. I forgot to change the tapered. Change this one to normal. And then pick the part to reinforce. And then 1, 2, middle button. And then 1 is just a straight bar. See here? So this one, if you want to have more rebar, then go to this distribution. You type, let's say, 5. Alright? So, now we're going to have a break so that we can move on to the other example as well. Okay, so I'll start with this column. So again, for this column, what I will do is I'm going to show only selected on this. Alright, show only selected. And then I'm going to create the main bar first. Okay, the main bar. So for the main bar, H20, let's say this one is 2. Then hook at the bottom will be 90 degrees. At the end, if my end is at the top, then no hook. And then on plane, I can say I'll put here 45 and front plane. And then the start will be at the bottom. If this one is 1000, then this one will be, let's say, negative, what did you do? What did you put? 850 or 9? Or let's say 9, yeah. Let's say 925. And then here is negative 1000. Correct? And then the distribution will be 3. Okay. So actually, okay, let me show you how I will do this. What you have done, okay, that one is okay. If you think that this one is similar to what you have done, then good. If not, then you check if which one is faster. Okay, so I'll pick this one, and then 1, 2. Okay, middle button of your mouse, and then 1, 2. There you go. And then here, because the bending is from the other side, so no worry, I will just simply select the custom hook and then change this one to negative 90, and then I'll put this one as 20. Here, what is this one? 400, right? Okay? So I created one. So all I have to do is go to the plan view and select, right click, copy, rotate to the center. How many copies? 3. Angle 90 degrees. copy. But there's a problem because I need only one here, right? Select this one. From the bottom, you can see here creation. So I will not create the first and last. Modify. This one, I will not create the first and last and then modify. And that's it. I have already the... So did you do the same?
No.
Okay.
But it's fine, yeah.
This from the copy part that you copy number. Can you do it one more time?
Yeah, sure. So meaning I have to create only one. Okay? Then what I will do, if there's no rebar on this side, then I can just simply copy mirror. Okay? Or the other way. Before I copy that one, I just want to give you a different method. Actually here, look, if I simply copy this one, right click, copy, just simply copy from here to here, look what will happen. Right? But this one, it's still okay. Why? You can adjust that one to negative 45 and then the hook will be positive. See? It's the same. Okay? That's one way, another way. Then for the copy, so what I did is select, right click, copy, rotate. Copy, rotate. Copy special, rotate. Pick the center point. And then number of copy, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then angle, 90 degrees. Copy. And then these two, this one, I need to change this. Exclude the first and last, modify. Exclude the first and last, and then modify. I don't know if this reinforcement number 1, oh no, if it is reinforcement number 1, it will be on the one side. Okay, so that one doesn't work on that case. All right, so in no time you have already the rebar for the main bar, and then for our links, then that one will be easy. It's the same thing. So bar group. So select this one, then type here links, and then H10. Okay, H10. Then let's say select other color here, and then the hook will be 135. 135. This one will be 25. From plane, I say, okay, this one, from plane, I'll put 50 from plane, but now look at the start and end, it should be 25 as well and 25. Okay? Okay, this in this case, you will notice that the link extended to the bottom, right? Okay, so look. What I will do is this. Pick the part to reinforce, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Middle button of my mouse. Okay. So, for the range, I'm not going to click this one. Why? Because if I pick this point, what will happen? It will merge to the point of my shape. Did you notice that one? If you pick the same point, the point of the shape is the same point is of the range. Correct? So what I will do is I will pick the range somewhere here, anywhere here. So that I have a difference from the shape. So pick 1 and then 2. Okay? So nothing there because this one, I need to put spacing 200 and then modify. Alright? So look, now, since I picked this point, look at my point here. Right? So what I will do is select that point, right click, move, and then I can move it here. You can put a construction point if you want to have a precise location. Okay, is that clear? Okay, so you can try. You can try again this method if you think this one is faster. But if you think what you did is okay, then I don't have any issue on that. Okay?
Click on it. I won't see the box.
You mean this one?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Please scroll down. The number is how many?
The number is target spacing,
Is
200.
exact
Distribution,
distribution.
the second one, equal distribution by target spacing. Okay, by the way, please take note, when you say equal distribution by target spacing, means the target is 200. The target is 200, but not necessarily the spacing will be 200. So the range will be up to 200, but the spacing of this one could be less than 200.
Not clear spacing, is it?
Yeah, this spacing. The target, our target is just 200, but it's not exact. If you like to be exact, then there will be a flexibility on the top, on the bottom, or on the middle. Okay, so remember that one. That's why there is in the distribution, these are the options. So meaning when you go to the drawing, the spacing of this one is not exactly 200, 200, 200, but that one is the target. But we can still show the target 200 if you like. But in reality, when they place that one in sight, then it's not exactly 200. They will just give, okay, this one will be, let's say 20 pieces of links. Then they will give you 20 pieces of links. Then you put that one equally in that range.
But here, which one did you choose?
I choose the second one, distribution by target, not the exact. So what I'm explaining is the target means we have the 200 target, but not necessarily when you measure this one, it's not exactly 200. But the target is 200. It will be less than.
Then how did you bring it down inside?
Yeah, that is the one that I've shown you earlier. Okay, let me just repeat, When we create the link, okay, look, select, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's the shape. Middle button of my mouse. Usually when I pick the range, I pick the same point. I pick this point, right? But you notice that if I pick this point, it will merge to the point of the shape. Correct? So what I will do is, I'm going to pick somewhere here. Or maybe I press Control to identify the height, or I put a construction point, okay? But let's say I'm going to pick anywhere, okay? The range, 1. But the important is you pick the end of this one, right? 2. There you go. Now, since I pick somewhere here, then that point will be shown. Imagine if I pick the corner, then it will merge to the shape, and then it's difficult to select which one to use. Now I can easily select because it's here. So I will just simply right click and then move from this point to, so if that one is 80 plus 80 plus 800, let's say 880.
I did the same, but I cannot find the point. You know the 80 that you have?
Is it? Okay, I'll check. I'll check. So can you try this one if you
Found it.
you found it? Okay.
Yes, right.
What's the angle for the
What do you
photo?
Oh, okay. Your size is too big. So when you change the size to Excel, for the link is Excel, and then yes. 125 and then 1 Yes, much more, much better. Solid. 46.2. Anyway, it's okay. You just put any.
Yes,
This one is 1 meter. You put 800 or 900.
And since we're here,
Oh, sorry.
I want to ask you this one, right? I put this one. Then I want to go take
Okay. Copy. Yeah. And then 3 copies. And then angle is the And that's it. Copy. And then select that one. Yeah. Last. First and last. And first and last. All right. So now, anyway, maybe later you can apply this one to other column, okay? But now let's have another. Okay, let's have another exercise. Okay. 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 So for the beam, this one is a continuous beam. That's why I call you. This is the difference between the precast and the CIS or the CIP. So for the beam, you will notice this one is a continuous beam. So I hope that your beam already have butter. I mean, you cut already the beam, right? In this case, the main bar here. The main bar is something like continuous, but okay, there will be a cranking here. Cranking. So meaning you need to have a construction line or construction. You need to have a construction line or construction point, or you can use your control key to click 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one is for the planting. Okay? So try this one first. Okay? But of course, this one always have the links. So same size, H20, H20, and then this one is H10. So now for the clunky, you just put any, let's say maybe 500. So maybe the detail, I'll show the details. So the clunky will be like this. So maybe this one is say 750, and then this one is say 200 or maybe 150. Then here, this one, it depends. It depends on the drop, depends on the size. If that one is 20, okay, maybe you put 50, but you check out if this one is too big, then you can adjust. So for the parameter. And this one is 200, CC 200. Okay? So you take care about the bending. So the bending, there will be a hook on the both end, but here on the middle part of the span, it's continuous. So if you look onto the section, so the thing is, okay, because here you will notice that we have already the reinforcement here, right? We have the reinforcement. So you need to be careful on the position of the reinforcement here, because we have already 3, so meaning you need to have a something like let's say 4 rebar here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So 4 rebar on the beam. Alright, so that will be our exercise before lunch.